So this PowerPoint presentation is basically based on the periods of drama. We have two periods of drama. We have the early period and we have the later period of drama. The early period of drama basically consists of three periods, and these are the classical period, which was from the 1750s to the 1820s. And in the classical period, we would find you have the Homeric or erotic period. And this was where Greek legends are passed along orally, including Homer's. Also, this period was very chaotic for warrior princes. Next one under the classical period we have is the classical Roman period, which was from 200 BC to 455 CC. This was where Greek culture gives way to Roman power when Rome conquered Greece in 146. Next one under the classical period, we have the classical Greek period, which is from 1800 to 200 BC. This is where Greek writers, playwrights, and philosophers such as Gorgias, Apsos, and Euripides became well known. Under the classical period, the last one, we have the patristic period, which was from the 70 CC to 450 CC. This is where early Christian writers appeared, such as Saint Augustus, Saint Cyprian, and Saint Ambrose. Now we're going to look at the medieval period. And it said that the medieval period or Middle Ages lasted approximately from 5 to the late 15th centuries. So under the medieval period, we have three sub periods. These are the Old English period, which was from 428 to 1066, right? And this is also called the Dark Ages. We have the Middle English period, which is from 1066 to 4050 CCs. And it says that in 1066, Norman French armies invade and conquer England under William the Force. The last one under the medieval period, this would be the late or the high medieval period, which was from 1200 to 1485 CC. And it says that this often tumultuous period is marked by the Middle Age writers, including Italian and French authors like Piat, Dante, and Christine de Pisan. Now, the later periods of literature. So the first one we have the Enlightenment period. And it says the Enlightenment period, the great age of reasoning. It is defined as the period of rigorous scientific, political, and philosophical discourse that characterized European society during the long 18th centuries. Right, so under the Enlightenment period, we also have three sub-periods. We have first the Restoration period, which was from 1600 to 1700. This period marks the British King's restoration to the throne after a long period of Puritan domination in England. Its symptoms include the dominance of French and classical influences on poetry and drama. Next sub-period under the Enlightenment period, we have the Augustan Age, which was from the 1700 to 1750. This period is marked by the imitation of Virgil and Horace literature in English letters. Third, we have the Age of Johnson, which was from the 1750s to 1790. This period marks the transition towards the upcoming Romanticism, though the period is still largely neoclassical. Some of the writers that would be found in this period were Dr. Samuel Johnson, Boswell, and Edward Gibbon. Next, under the later period, we have the Romantic period, which began roughly around 1798 and lasted until 1838. Right? So in this period, you have Romantic poets write about nature, imaginations, and individuality in England. Some of the Romantics include Coleridge, Blake, Keats, and Shelley in Britain, and Johann von Goethe in Germany. We have the Victoria period and the 19th century period. So this is a period between approximately 1820 and 1940. During this period, you had a writing during period of Queen Victoria's reign include sentimental novels. British writers include Elizabeth Browning, Alfred Lord Tennyson, Matthew Arnold, Robert Browning, and Charles Dickens, just to mention of. Next period under the later periods, we have the modern period. This is the period began approximately in the mid 18th centuries, and depending on the author, either ended with the beginning of the contemporary history. So under the modern period, you would have some writers include W.B. Yeats, Seymour Hinney, Dylan Thomas, Virgin Woolf, and Wilfred Owen. And last sub-period under the later period, we have the post-mortem period. This period stretched from the late 19th century to the middle of the 20th century. And in this period, you had modern writers, poets, and playwrights experiment with metafiction and fragmented poetry. Multiculturalism leads to increasing canonization of non-Caucasian writers such as Langston Hughes, Sancho Cineros, and Zora Neale Hudson. Yes, so this poem, being found in the Elizabethan period, is one of very rare instances because in the Elizabethan period, usually that's a period where love is not quite prevalent. Mostly what you would find in that period is that it would inspire national pride through classical ideals and international expansion and naval triumph. So this poem here, being found in the Elizabethan period, has great influence because it shows that there was another prevalent ideal, which is love, right? And it shows that with this love, it shows that a man was with a woman for 3 days, right? And he was so taken by her within that 3 days. And so he was so in love with this woman that he believed that she's a continual and a constant and beautiful as she is now. And also he's infatuated by her. So this here now shows that in the Elizabethan period, these are great influences because not only have we found that love was prevalent in this age, but we also know of the other points that were stated before. So it shows that even though the Elizabethan period was basically one of national pride and international expansion, love was also prevalent.